Hello, group. Welcome to Action Rock Corner. I'm your host, Richard May. Last night, I'll pick a album for today. Easy peasy. Excuse me. And I've had one of those days. Just can't find something. This is the various things that I get to pick from. Okay? Lots of stuff here. Probably a couple hundred. Couldn't find anything for you. Sounding like blah. It really was blah. Grumble, grumble. Into the circular file. No problem. That stuff I'm still gotta go through. I think I got a nice patch today that will bear fruit in the next couple of days. And that doesn't even count the legacy bands, which I keep in a separate pile. You know, the bands you know about, know of. So, it took 2 hours trying to find. And of course, when you're really hitting a bad streak like that, everything starts sounding like crap. Well, how do you fix that? Time to hit my library, my YouTube music library, and right at the top is my likes. Those almost 5,000 songs I like. And shuffle, hit the shuffle button, and YouTube knows me. YouTube loves me. And one at the top gives me Frank Zappa, Montana. Moving to Montana soon. Be a dental floss tycoon. When you spend a couple hours listening to crap, Frank Zappa is good fiber, if you know what I mean. X-lax is another term. Enema is another term. It just cleared out my head of all the crap I was trying to see if I liked. Montana fixed that funk. Also in this session, I spent a couple hours with my likes here. And of course, this is what this show's about. I go through my YouTube likes, and I may listen to like 40, 50 songs, and I talk about, 10 or so with you. I didn't count. Other Frank Zappa song that gave me, it was live. Montana was live. And trouble coming every day. Yeah. That will fix my attitude. The second song that YouTube gave me, that get me out of this funk, they gave me The Runaways. The first record that Joan and Jett took over the vocals for Jared Carey. School Days. School Days, what a great, heavy, much heavier than Joan and Jett would do later. Yeah, just this jogging School Days chant with the other girls in the band. That pretty good record. Waiting for the Night. That helps my attitude too. Later in my listening session, they gave me Joan Jett proper from this. I don't think it's from this record, but it's I want to be your Iggy Pop and the Stooges. I want to be your dog. But the version that I have from YouTube, Joan's jamming. Joan never jams. Don't go to Joan. Nothing from Joan goes beyond 4 minutes. Okay? She just doesn't jam. But on this version of I Want to Be Your Dog, she jams. Find it on YouTube. Just Joan Jett, I Want to Be Your Dog. And you should be able to find it among the versions available. Great stuff. Steve Jones. You ever wonder if I'm a sensitive? Because mostly I'm kind of insensitive. I hate ballads. Ballads suck. But the ballad from this record, well, it's not really a ballad. Just kind of mid-paced, slow. Leave your shoes on. That's the law around here, honey. Take off everything else, but leave your shoes on. That's the law around here. Really nice song. Great record. You never heard Fire and Gasoline by Steve Jones. Kicks your ass. Steve tried to be a pop star just before this. He's a heck of it. And of course brought in a couple guys from the Guns N' Roses and the singer from The Cult, go produced a record with him. Hell of a rockin' record, biker rock record. Sleaze. This is sleaze rock. Leave your shoes on as you get into bed with me. Yeah, that's sleaze. That's the definition of sleaze right there. Honey, let's go to bed, but leave your shoes on. Indeed. Here's a connection. The other Steve Jones. Now, I promised in the headline, Sex Pistols. Technically, it was Sex Pistols. Black Leather. Johnny Rotten was gone. Okay? Basically, they're professionals. Okay? When you don't have Johnny Rotten and it's Cooksey and Steve Jones, probably no Sid Vicious. I don't quite remember. So they did this hot song called Black Leather. Hell of a riff. Hell of a sleaze rock lyric. I hear the boots down the hall. I should not have asked for Black Leather. Hell of a cult rock song. And yeah, they released a single under the Sex Pistols brand. But, no Johnny Rotten and didn't sell. But it's hard. You can get on YouTube, of course. Sex Pistols, Black Leather, there it is. But on physical, soon after that came out, Joan Jett, hey, I need a song. Joan Jett was hanging out with the Pistols back in the day. That song's pretty good. Can I do it? Black Leather. Joan Jett doing Black Leather. From the last Runaways record, The Old Girl's Lost. You can also find it on physical as And Now, The Runaways. same album, different sequencing. You'll find it on YouTube, of course. And there's other versions of Black Leather by various bands with Steve Jones involved. You don't know the song Black Leather, now you know. Go find it. Don't confuse. Joan Jett did a song called Black Leather later in her solo career, titled Black Leather, but not the same song. Don't be confused. Okay? But she also kept that song for her solo sets in her solo career live, as he should have, and still should perform. I mentioned Iggy earlier. I Want to Be Your Dog. Iggy himself pops up in the shuffle from this record. Forgive me for reading. Brick by Brick, of course it is. Neon Forest. You never heard Neon Forest? It's kind of a cheap track on this record. Neon Forest has a hell of a groove. Hell of a groove. Absolutely brilliant groove. And it keeps up all the way through forever long the song is. There's a hell of a lot more than 4 minutes. Neon Forest. Check that out from Brick by Brick on YouTube. Of course, everything's on YouTube because YouTube keeps these songs for me. And it'll keep it for you. Just like a song and you'll get your own library going. Lots of fun. The last of my legacy bands. Well, the others are I may do more legacy, but we'll see. UFO. 2 songs. Well, what I was given was from a BBC set. This is also a BBC set. I believe both songs are on this. Yeah, Letting Go and Mystery Train are on this set. It's probably these performances, but I had them under a different BBC collection of UFO. Letting Go. Letting Go. Who needs Michael Schecker? You need Tonka. You need Tonka Chapman. That's who you need. Letting Go. Letting Go now. Holy crap. That's a hell of a groove. Hell of a riff. Absolutely bowls you down. Amazing song. Also from this set. And I don't have the record by itself. I have a 2/4 here. No Place to Run. The first record with Tonka. I think it's right next to each other. Letting Go. Excuse me, followed by Mystery Train. Those are 2 great songs. And let me just make a point here. There's a lot of UFO. Because we're here, yeah, these are oldies we talked about. And we, it's like, yeah, go revisit your Zappa. Go revisit your Pistols and Steve Jones and Joan Jett and the Runaways. But there's a lot of UFO to listen to with Phil Mogg. Phil is UFO. After Michael Schecker left, there's a lot of UFO without Michael Schecker. Yeah, you guys love this thing that I reviewed. Okay? Schecker re-recording a lot of his UFO classics. You know, you guys like my review of this record. But Michael Schenker is not the end-all be-all of UFO. Phil Mogg is the beginning and end of He's Still Alive. You know, through allegedly UFO is not producing new music anymore. UFO Incorporated is still very much with us. You know, you get new stuff from UFO every other month. But of course, my first review for you is this record, Mogg's Motel. Great record. Sounds like UFO to me. And of course, the other vacation, Mo Gray, is UFO. Just to have you'll kerfluffle with the rights to the band name. Okay? So Pete Ray and Phil, that's UFO. And so this is a great UFO record. Named Mo Gray, of course, but absolutely great stuff. Go check out your UFO. Amazing stuff, regardless of the lineup. As long as you have Phil, you got a good record. That's all I gotta say. Okay? Can I talk about some new music? Please. In my listening session, it gave me a song from this great record. You miss your Dubro Negro? Dubro Negro has not released a new record in years. They're touring right now. If you're in Europe and they're coming to your town, go see them. But the good and the bad and the ugly does a great Dubro Negro like record. Also touches of the Angels and Dropkick Murphys. November Boys just came out a week or two ago. 2 weeks by the time you see this. This is a great record. The song they played me, Dig a Ditch. Dig a Ditch. Amazing song. Fantastic song. Check out the good, the bad, and the ugly. That logo may not be as helpful, but that's the name of the band. The good, the bad, buzzy on it, ugly. Okay? Great band, great new record. What about some Poison Heart from Poland? Our prayers with you, Poland. I'm half Polish. And with current, well, it's a week ago. You know, I taped this about a week ago with the incursion from the Russians into Poland with drones. I have a friend in Poland right now. I told her before she went, well, have fun in a free country. United States, not so free. We're with you, Poland. We're all Poland. We're all Ukraine. And this is a great band, Poison Heart. Warsaw Blues. I think it's basically sung in Polish, but yeah. Great song, good record. The record is named Love, Lies, and Hard Times. Really good, nice record. Going back to the Runaways. This is a great record. I don't own this physically. I'm not happy about that. Boulevards of Splendor. And the song is Mr. X that they played me. It has Slash and Tuff McGagan playing with her on the song. As well they should. A lot of good musicians should be working with the lovely and talented Sherry Carey, the original lead singer of the Runaways, the Cherry and Cherry Bomb. Sherry Carey. I want that record. It's on YouTube, of course. Check it out. Okay, guys, behave out there. My favorite new bands. The Devils. This is Erica Switchblade. Of course it is. She's the drummer. YouTube figured out I really love the Devils. Because, of course, the first record, the new record is what I heard first. And this is a fine record. But they seem to be becoming more respectable with this record. This is basically a kind of a blues cover thing, tribute thing. These are their originals. The two songs I was given from this fine live set, live at Maximum Festival. The two songs are Shaking Satan's Balls. Let me enunciate better. Shaking, no G. Satan's balls. I'm in. You name a song that, there's no lyrics to that. It's great. The other song they gave me later in the listening session, Cotus Interruptus, from a Priest. I think it's some lyrics to that thing. And Erica is basically the singer in the Devils and drummer. It's one of those duo acts where she drums and the young man is a guitar player. The young man is named, oh, my handwriting, I'm sorry, Lucky Blackia? Or Lazy, no, excuse me, Lazy Blackia. He's not black. His last name is Blackia. I'm sure Mr. and Mrs. Blackia is very proud of him. But they're from Italy. I don't think Blackia is Italian or Switchblade is Italian. One of my new favorite bands. I gotta get some physical of the Devils. I do. I owe you money, Devils, as well as publicity. Great band, a lot of fun. You know, blues, the last record is a blues tribute. But it's a lot of fun. Well, last band for you. That's my new favorite band. This is like one of my first favorite of my own. That was, not one of these popular bands, but yeah. The band is Earthquake. 2 words, not the rapper. This is from 50 years ago. This is a promo copy of their first release on their own label that they co-owned with their manager. Berserkly Records. Rocking the world, right? And the caricature is the caricature of the singer, Joan. And this is a great record. This is a really good record. It really does not exist on YouTube. Oddly enough, Jett owns the old Berserkly label. Does not exist anymore, but Jett owns, along with her business partner, who was a producer at Berserkly. So Joan and her partner now own all the Earthquake records and the other stuff that Berserkly released. You know, 2 songs and 2 bands from Berserkly. You know, Jonathan Richman, Roadrunner. That was from the Berserkly label. That was their first cult hit. You hipsters know Roadrunner. The last hit they had, and the biggest popular hit, was Grey Ken, Jeopardy. You may remember Weird Al Yankovic's parody of Jeopardy. I lost on Jeopardy, baby. Ooh, right. And so that's what Berserkly is for. But I'm talking about Earthquake, right? So Earthquake, well, from this record, Friday on My Mind, the old Easy Beats song. They did a cover of Friday on My Mind. A lot of bands have done covers of Friday on My Mind. Their version was the first version I ever heard. It was played in Cleveland on WMMS as the weekend, charge into the weekend songs. It'd be Friday on My Mind, and this being a promo copy that I bought cheap just last year. This may well be the record that was played. This may well be WMMS's copy. How many promo copies are running around Cleveland after 50 years? And so that was part of the weekend kickoff. Friday on My Mind, Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run, and in later years, Cleveland Rocks by Ian Hunter, for obvious reasons. And those 3 songs would kick us into the weekend. You know, it's like, yes, Born to Run, yeah. And allegedly, other radio stations used Friday on My Mind as a weekend kickoff on early Friday evening to charge people up for the weekend. But in Cleveland it was done. I don't know if any other markets used it. And that's where I learned about Earthquake. Earthquake was a hard rock band, and this is very much a hard rock record. Okay? But in studio records, after that, they were very much a power pop record band. And it would be a mix of power pop songs and hard rock songs, which we don't care for 50 years later. You know, we want and we get nowadays. You know, whatever the band is, you get 40 minutes of that and that's it, and you love it. We love it. We don't want variety in our records. We want AC/DC to be AC/DC for 40 minutes, and we love them for it. and whoever else we're talking about. But in the 70s, that isn't what we got usually. You got variety. You know, be a reggae song in there, there'll be a this kind of song in there. And yeah. So just, you know, an old fave of mine. And they played for me Trouble, a hard rock song from Earthquake, from their last record, 2 years in a padded cell. Trouble is a cool song. And there's cool stuff to be found on YouTube. You know, this is the compilation of Earthquake that came out about 2000 with, you know, much of their best songs from the Berserkly years. There's also a 2-for-1 of their A&M label, first 2 records, which is different than what they do here, modestly. And you know, it's like, and you know, they disappeared in the early 80s. You know, after, you know, 2 years in a pad cell came out in 1979, they were done. Stick a fork in them. The label stayed around because, of course, Jeopardy became a hit in the early 80s. But basically, when Jeopardy came out, that's all Berserkly was the Greg King Band. And that's all they were releasing. You know, they're basically, and after a few years after Jeopardy, the label was done. Let me leave you with a short, cute story of lead singer syndrome, or what happens to lead singers. John Toukas. Did I say it correctly? Doukas. Toukas. John Toukas was the singer for Earthquake. And, you know, in the late 70s, because he was a person of means, and he wasn't poor. You know, he set up a label with his manager, and I guess a lot of it was his own money. And so he's in England, hanging out with The Who. Yeah, a singer you never heard of. But of course, the lead singer will be welcomed to hang out with The Who in England as they do whatever record that particular record was for The Who. So he's hanging out with The Who. He meets a young model, and they fall in love because lead singers get models. Of course they do. They marry in 1979, you know, when his last record's out. And his wife, the young model, goes, "John, I want to set up my own modeling agency. Will you help me?" And John goes, "Of course I will." And his later ex-wife, Sarah, her modeling agency becomes huge. If I remember correctly, they're the ones that discovered Kate Moss, or some other supermodel level talent like that. And so the modeling agency is a huge success. And John's daughter, with Sarah, is an agent, an executive with this modeling agency. And they're a big deal in England. John, of course, divorced Sarah, remarried, and moved to South Africa to become a businessman and did documentaries, whatever. He died in 2011. when he died, because he was married to one of the most powerful people in fashion in England or worldwide, there was a obituary for John Tokas in the British version of Vogue. Excuse me, people. It's not a word I say very often. I'm not that hip. Vogue magazine. I'm in a fog, maybe, but the magazine, of course, is Vogue. But, yeah. And yeah, so the lead singer for this band you've probably never heard of, and their old records have no value in Discogs, except for this record. This record has a little bit of value, but the others really don't have that much value. Excuse me. Excuse the short break. So, this guy in a no-name band whose, back catalog has no value on Discogs other than the first live record for Berserkly gets an orbit in the British version of the top fashion magazine because of who his wife and daughter, because the daughter grew up by then and she's a high-powered exec as well, and carrying his name still to this day. Sarah Tokas and his daughter Noelle. And I just find that cute. Lead singers get to do that. They get to hang out there. The other four guys had to go practice their instruments. The singer, he's hanging out with the Who. He's meeting models. He's marrying a pretty girl who becomes a fashion icon exec. The other four guys are back in San Francisco, teaching guitar lessons or whatever. And we love all four of you guys. Well, another guy died. There's 3 survivors, if I remember correctly. We love you all. I love Earthquake. Check out some Earthquake. Check out their version of Friday on My Mind, which is on YouTube. And their other songs. Just go poke around and see if you like it. You may like it. And that's what I have for you today. Yes, I still want the Clash. You like this video? Give it a like. Subscribe to the channel. And ring the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. And leave a comment. You know half the bands I was referring to. You got your own opinions about Joan, Jett, and UFO, and Frank Zappa. And, go check out, if you didn't see my reviews for some of these bands, go check them out. And, when you do your YouTube likes and you hit the shuffle button, what songs come out for you? What's your fave songs that YouTube gives to you when you press the shuffle button? Share. It's all about sharing. This is what this station's all about. And thank you for watching. And we'll see you again soon. Remember, fresh music is as important as fresh food. And if you haven't heard your UFO and Zappa in a while, it's becoming fresh for you. Go check it out and remind yourself while you're watching a YouTube channel for new music and referring to old music a lot. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon.